Okay, action.
Yesterday's FedEx day went really well. I got the opportunity of seeing the facets of actually managing a project. I think I did a fair job of assembling a great team of talented developers. And all the other things a good manager would do, exporting a text look, for meeting the one-day deadline, and having one-on-ones and approving clarity timesheets. Anyway, so this project, I had the wonderful opportunity, or terrible misfortune, depending on whom you ask, of working on the testing status reports recently, and realized that this can be done a little better, especially since we are doing automation anyway. So hence this project, and my awesome team will talk about it.
So you can see here, this is how we're currently doing our testing status reports. We have this spreadsheet, and this is kind of like a relic of when we exported. We kept our scripts in QC and exported everything into here. And it was a great process back then because everything was in QC and we could just click a button and there you go. But today with our automation frameworks, this is kind of a hassle to do, and oftentimes it can be really inaccurate and a little bit slow as well, and it requires somebody to compile an email and send it out every day. So it can easily add up to a lot of time spent on it. Also, the tables, they're not the greatest to interpret, but so our solution, we'll let Naren talk about it.
So basically, I kind of felt that in the reports, it doesn't exactly correlate with what we are doing in automation. So basically, I just wanted to start pumping data into one sort of central DB, and maybe one day was hoping that we put all those together and actually generate reports, and basically this is a proof of concept. And
yeah, so we'll just take a look at the actual tool now. So whereas the old way you kind of received an Excel spreadsheet, it was pushed out to you, you may or may not be interested in it. This way you can go to this dashboard here we've set up and kind of generate your own daily report in whatever way you want to look at. So this is real data coming from the renters team by state. This is number of tests executed, pass and fail. Just from yesterday, we can break it down by state, we can break it down by environment. We can go back farther, so maybe I want to see kind of a long-term trend. I can go back 30 days, and the trends really start to jump out. So now I can something's going on in Kentucky, I can break it down. I can say, okay, is this IT or ST, what's going on? And sort of generate data on the fly like that. Right now, this is just kind of a single report by state. This may or may not be interesting to everyone. Obviously, in the future, we could do, you can easily imagine having by work request number, by team, by app, any sort of way to slice it. And basically, it'd be pretty simple to build up this dashboard like that. So.
What is the source data for
I wanted to go back to...
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
What is the source data for this?
Right, so if we go back, that kind of architecture diagram in the previous slide, I'll move back to here.
Yeah, I'm not too great at it.
So all the testers, when they're running their automation, we put, and this is just on the renters team right now, but it could very easily be extended. It compiles the results of that scenario, that test, sends it out to a database, which is sitting actually on a computer over in Plaza 2. And then this sort of test dashboard right here is actually an app sitting on my computer, so they're talking back and forth. We're talking to my app, just talking to the database and getting the data back.
So do you guys manually update that database?
automation, automated.
Yeah, do we actually have data?
And actually, if you look at this results right here, we ran our IPEX regression last night. So these are all the results from our IPEX regression. And you can see, I can't really point to it, starting at Connecticut to Maryland, it appears that the service went down. And we had a lot of fails. So you can really get a good overview just in the past day of, we know we did this, let's look at it and get a real quick snapshot of potentially what happened.
Actually, what you're seeing here is just a minute fraction about what we actually have in the database. We collect pretty much all the information.
This is
we're
just
going to show it we'll just show you guys later.
So yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea, kind of a snapshot of the health of your applications. And like I said, we can extend this to work request number, to story card number, any way you want to look at it. So
basically dynamic.
So talk about the next steps.
Yeah, our next steps, like they were saying, you can put pretty much anything up there. Right now is just what we were able to get accomplished yesterday. But you could really start looking at stuff, compare work requests, and you don't necessarily even have to do pass-fail. You can say for each one of those cards in the work request, these were accomplished, these many scenarios were ran for this. Story card release, you can even look at, hopefully what we're gonna do is you can just look at certain tags, like look at regression, or look at continuous improvement, and then you can also, you have more options for viewing the data is what we want to implement, which would be like pie charts, line graphs, tables, comparison charts, whatever you can build with the data. Also, and what would you like to see is hopefully when we get this out to more teams, we'll be able to see a lot more innovation come from it.
We'd also like to get some feedback from the business unit, because what kind of stats would you like to see? But
Yeah, as you have seen, this delicious application can be used in so many different ways. That marks the end of our presentation. Any questions or suggestions?
Yeah, for the kind of the future enhancements, that's really cool. I like it. Obviously, the source data is in there, and that's how you're able to say pass, fail. Could you like drill down into it? Like if you clicked on it, I can see the scenarios that are failing.
We can get that information. We basically collect like everything that we run, including like scenario title, and we can even like collect the scenario steps and all, and that like keeps a record of like how many things you have run. Right. And like in the future, like we are thinking of like mapping it to work request. Right now, we just type with story cards and stuff.
Yeah, so it's a great question. That's exactly the feedback we're looking for, and that it would be possible. So if there's, that's a great idea. And if there's any other things that our stakeholders would like to see, we can pretty easily do that stuff.
the data we were displaying on that page is just, it's really kind of a small portion of the data we're actually collecting. We just didn't want to do anything too complicated to do it in one day.
With the one day deadline, yeah.
No, it's super impressive in 24 hours. So.
Oh, and a shout out to our actual managers for giving the resources and stuff like to work like a mapping which we host the database, and a shout out to our actual manager like Mike for helping us with the rooms and stuff yesterday. So thank you so much.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you use any tools for the dashboard?
So on the front end, it's really just plain JavaScript. To get into what's actually going on, it's just plain JavaScript, and we have AJAX calls we're sending back to a Rails app. So behind the scenes, it's all Rails, and that's basically it. Just AJAX tied a call to a Rails app.
Yeah, we basically built it from scratch. Like we're basically not using anything. It's just the plotting libraries like Google Charts, but.
Can you export the data to Excel if you want to?
Or
Or it's like, do we have any program to export the data? Because to send to the management or like if we have to circulate the data, not everyone will be able to.
Right. Well, so what we like, one of the things we also like is like a customizable table on that page, and so it'd be, if you can think of that, I want to see these teams, this time period, this environment. If you can do that, then I think, you'd be able to export that to an Excel sheet. That's just another, idea that we can look at.
We kind of did the table yesterday. Where we were going to actually put which table you want to see and all, but we felt that the graphs with the pretty pictures are always good.
I also would like to suggest one more kind of innovation you can add to this. So you can also create a ticket report if you can do that. So that will be helpful to circulate to all the teams like the details and what are the status and everything. So that way we can coordinate the tickets also along with the work request status.
Good idea.
Would there be any issue with pointing this at production? Like, could you run a regression suite on production and generate that regression?
As long as it's coming to the same database, the results from the scenarios that we're pushing to the database, I don't think it'd be a transparent change as far as this app is concerned.
Because this would be great troubleshooting of like a P0. Like we have our Topaz scripts and things that fail, but we just know something's failing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were able to drill down and your example of a service is down, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could get to it very fast if we could point this at production and run it.
I think it's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Cool, that is pretty sweet. If we're able to get information directly from the Topaz scripts, we can still do it. We can also run our regression suites on production if you want. That would be pretty cool.
Thank you.
Anything else?